I would have them start the same place that we did here. So, and even if we moved it to other sites, like the high school or to the other middle school sites, here we didn't try to, it had to be done correctly. Like, it had to be about the relationships with kids, right? So when it started out here, when Sharina Better started it here, it was about targeting, a handful of kids and growing the program small, like making sure that it was not something where at the middle school you make 3 sections of it and have 60 kids in the caseload and then not do it with fidelity. Making sure that you find one person over there that really understands, the human connection piece, the student relationship piece, and then allowing them the opportunity to, come and connect with our kids and observe and build that and grow that at their site with the buy-in of their teachers. And for it to fit within that site's PBIS model. I feel like, and even having the connections with, as we grow it in our district, connecting it to the community. Because I know that for our kids with the Accelerate, one of the things that we're really trying to do, because there isn't anything at the high school called Accelerate, we're really trying to get them to see the values of the Link Learning Academies at the high school, because that model exists. It's just not Accelerate. So for us, if we can get them into the academies at the high school, then we know that those teachers are looking at the kids and evaluating them and meeting with them and talking to them about academics and behaviors. So even though it's kind of a different format, it really has been successful at YHS to target at-risk students to get them to graduation. So looking at that as a possible link to the high school, and doing things here to encourage our kids to go into the academies. It would be important then, if that was the feeder, if that was how it was, for us to continue to grow our academy at the high school, which they are doing. They're working on doing that independent of what we're doing here. The Link Learning Academy is at the high school. I don't know if are you familiar? Okay. They were designed to target at-risk students, so it really makes sense that that we would have more opportunities at the high school. If we grow here at the middle school to have Accelerate, and that would be the feeder, that they would also continue to grow at the high school and maybe have more variety or opportunities. At Parkview is our other middle school. For them, I could definitely see it where you find an adult who does share in the same educational philosophy and has good classroom management and builds relationships with students, to identify students on their campus and start providing those supports the way that we do here. And it might look different for them. It might be a different model. Maybe they have a class, or maybe they, but allowing them to see what we're doing and how we're doing it to target, behavior and attendance and academics, and then also be an extra person that connects with that kid on campus. Because again, it can't be cookie cutter. So if it did extend to the other sites, it would have to fit within their school culture, and it would have to be able to be flexible. And with Accelerate, I feel like it is flexible, and that's why it's successful. And it also have to be, systematic in that it's sustainable, that the district is willing to support. Because for us, we do have teachers that have an extra prep to be able to pull those kids out. And that, that does cost funding. And so having district financial support so that these programs can grow and for them to see the value in those programs. And a lot of that comes to the district representatives coming to site to see it, and for us to show data, and for us to track kids and show their success. Did you have a question on that?
I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
The tracking of data and showing success. Is there a current way that you're tracking data?
We do have a way to still tag kids, because everybody's in Aries, so we use the same computer program. We can tag students and then pull reports and things for them. But we're still so new. I believe that the Accelerate, they would be sophomores. So looking at that information we're starting to kind of do that now. And that's where we're seeing, okay, we have a lot of kids that went to the high school that didn't go into an academy, and they're failing, a few classes or doing whatever. So that's why now we're trying to pivot and go, okay, with our 8th graders, what are we going to do right now? And how can we capture some of those 9th and 10th graders, successful and not, get them back on track, or have them come and talk to our kids about what they should have done. If I had somebody come and tell me, I would have told you to go in law and public safety. You don't even have to be a police officer. Just go into law and public safety, because I didn't, and if I had, my other friends did, and they're passing their classes and I'm not, or whatever that looks like, to have that peer. So we're starting to kind of look at that now. The queries that we've run, or data that we've looked at, would be like, the kids, are they passing their classes? Are they failing 2 or more of their classes? How are they doing in math? How are they doing in English? What their scores might be. Well, it's hard for the high school, because next year we'll be able to see state test data on the first group of Accelerate kids, because they only take the state test as a junior now. They don't take it in 9th or 10th grade. So we're kind of waiting. The next year we'll be able to look at that data too. But I'm also curious to then start to compare a site like ours to Parkview that may not have that program, and kind of see that data as well. So we'll have to be thoughtful on you can't compare it to the whole school. So how do you identify their at-risk students and then compare having Accelerate here and not having Accelerate there? So that would be that communication between the sites, if that makes sense. But all that, just so you know, is taking place now. We're starting to have those conversations about what that looks like, so that we can show the stakeholders. We can show the district, like, look, here's how we know it's successful, and we have our data that can show, like, these kids were making these grades, but are now doing this, or they're in support classes, they scored this, and now they're scoring this. But a lot of what Accelerate is, it's hard to measure, because it's not just about their academics, if that makes sense. And I think that's why it's different, because how do you measure how much a kid's self-esteem has grown, or how do you measure, you can measure attendance. That's something that can be. You can look at their attendance the year before when they weren't in Accelerate, and then look at attendance now. I mean, you can do those sorts of things. But getting them to see why it's important and kind of start to take responsibility for their own learning, that's going to show when they earn that diploma.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just trying to be mindful of the time here, so I'm just
You're okay.
I don't
have. I'm good, because I don't have anything until 11.
Okay. What, if anything, do you believe you need in your current role to support at-risk students, to support teacher-student relationships? Is there anything you feel that you need more of, or differently?
So the link between what I do and district support is broken. We, in our district, and it's kind of one of those things where I'm just going to be completely transparent with you, but one of the things that we have to do better is we have to build, like with our SARB process, I don't know if you're familiar with SARB, with our SARB process, it doesn't function the way that it needs to support the families that I'm bringing to SARB. Our intention, so for our SARB in our district is unique because we do it for attendance and behavior. And it really is only beneficial for attendance. for behavior,